Hello, everyone, and welcome to Vibrant Living Now. I am your host, Julianne Wutke, Vibrant Living expert and certified health coach. Now, if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, be sure and hit like and subscribe. Well, today we get to have a chat with Monica Eastway. Now, Monica is an eco gerontologist, and she is on a mission to grow harmonious longevity for current and future generations. So, Monica, welcome.
Oh, thank you so much for the wonderful introduction, Julianne. It's lovely to be here. I'm here with you all from Big Sur, California. I don't know if our listeners and watchers might know where that is. And it's just another bright and beautiful day here.
That's right. Yeah, I think almost everyone in the world knows. If you say Big Sur, they will know what that means. And I love that you can be out there and show your beautiful, environment. And I know that's a
Yeah.
big part of what you do. So I
Yeah.
am extremely curious. I remember I was first looking into having a gerontologist help me out with my parents as they were aging. And, I just couldn't find one. And because all their doctors just seemed to be so spread out, and the left hand didn't know what the right hand was doing. And oh, it was kind of a mess, and we never really did sort any of that out. And so when I saw, I actually was introduced to the work you do by reading something in, I believe it was the Monterey County Weekly. I think that's right.
Yeah.
And I saw a echo gerontol. I have to find out what that means.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Oh,
let us
very
know,
good.
what is echo gerontology?
Yeah, eco gerontology. It's interesting too because a lot of people, gerontologists, gerontology is a field that a lot of people like, what is that? And it often can get confused with geriatric medicine. It might have been what you discovered when you see it, maybe a geriatric doctor. And they
Hmm.
focus more on the biomedical model, right? So in things like this. In gerontology, it's the study of aging, and as
Hmm.
gerontologists, we seek to analyze, know, understand, modify as needed, and optimize, people's ability to age well, as long as they prefer in their homes of choice.
Hmm.
And so we do use an interdisciplinary approach. So, think about our social connections and maybe with your parents, maybe the house, had too many stairs or, rugs that need to be moved over, things
Hmm.
like this. Maybe they have a mobility impairment now or a dementia diagnosis. So gerontologists are key with helping families and individuals themselves, maintain and optimize their quality of life and well-being
Hmm.
throughout the aging process. And really, aging is living in that sense. So eco gerontology adds a new lens. It is an emerging field. So we do now know that our ability to age healthy and long, as many of you might have heard of the blue zones, it's become very popular now,
Hmm.
is conditioned by, of course, genetic factors, variations in personal development, and above all, we've found our dialogues with our environments,
Hmm.
right? So not just our built environments, which think our houses, our towns, right? Back to the blue zones. They live
Hmm.
in towns built for people, not just
Hmm.
cars. So they walk
Hmm.
a lot, things like this, walkability, our schools, our workplaces, and our social environments. Yet the focus right now tends to be more so on our human built environments and our human social environments.
Hmm.
And we're not quite capturing the significance and importance of the natural environment, and the
Hmm.
natural environment which supports all our domains of livability and nutrient rich food. Think nutrients rich soil, clean air. And we're living in a climate changing world, and a lot of people listening, you might have experienced smoke from fires or
Hmm.
floods and these kinds of things. So ecogerontology is an emerging field, and the focus is on you know, encasing the natural environment and all our aging friendly policies, how we, generate like what I like to call harmonious longevity for current and future generations. So that's just a
Hmm.
brief kind of overview of this emerging field.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
great. Yeah, I just it looked very intriguing to me when I just kind of skimmed the surface, and that's why I was wanting to interview. I thought our audience would be very interested in finding out more. So you mentioned something about how to get your brain on nature with the
Yeah.
5 A's. Tell us about that.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, because for our listeners, like, how can I work with nature to optimize my vibrancy, right? My promotion of quality of life and well-being. And we do have, thousands of research studies. You might have heard about, a lot of studies coming out on how great nature is for our health and well-being, going on nature walks, things like this.
Mhm,
So thanks to the living in the decade of neuroscience, we now have, hundreds of studies that show what's happening to our brains. Just
mhm,
think for a moment, right? Julian, how you feel when your feet first step on a beach or
mhm.
you're in a beautiful forest, like right immediately, how do you feel?
Great. Yeah,
Yeah.
connected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Connected, calm, I've heard peaceful. And there is a neurological reason for that called your brain on nature. So what they found is particularly when you're aware, right? Nature's not a backdrop. You're actively, so the 5 A's, awareness, you're actively noticing. You're noticing what you see, awakening your senses. What do you smell? What sounds do you hear? Take the earbuds out for a minute and really listen to the sounds of nature. And what they found is serotonin starts to flow. That's that happy brain chemical that balances our mood, increases joy, and that feelings of well-being. Our dopamine flows, right? That's the feel-good pleasure. You can
Mm,
get it from a bag of chips. What they found when you're out on the beach or out in nature, really connecting with nature and noticing nature, you start to feel good. Like you said, you
mhm,
feel connected. Your endorphins start to flow, natural painkillers. So people that, in studies that, okay, I've got just had a knee replacement or something, for example, and now doctor says it's time to start walking. If you go walk outdoors, they call it green exercise. They found just, nice, slow, mindful walking, you will start to feel less pain because what's happening is that dopamine, nature's natural painkiller starting to flow. And then the oxytocin starts to flow. That's
mm,
what you're talking about connection. That's our heart center, our feeling of social connection to each other, but also to the natural environment. So they found this decreases feelings of loneliness, isolation that often can happen when, as we get older and maybe we've lost some of our friends, our communities are changing, maybe a transition from a job, like these kinds of things that happen throughout our life. Nature is our number one care ally to, really utilize. So awareness,
mhm,
awakening, immersing your senses in nature. And what happens also when we start doing that, you start to feel a little awe, right?
mhm.
And there's a whole science for our listeners. Google the science of awe, and you're going to be like, wow. So there's this thing called awe walking. Again, that's awakening your senses and honing in on some wherever you are. I don't care if you're in a parking lot or, your backyard. Hone in your senses on something maybe that you've never noticed before, right? And what
Mhm,
as you start to feel your curiosity, your flow, but also it starts to stimulate what's called your vagus nerve, which is the largest nerve, and which is a health promotion. That's
mhm,
the nerve we really want to activate, right? Because it's the conductor of our immune system, our cardiovascular system, things like this. So something as simple as experiencing these feelings and sensations of wonderment, of
mhm.
awe, will start to activate this nerve. And that's a whole conversation for a that's a
Yeah, right?
for another thing, but just very simple. So awareness, awe. And then what happens when you start feeling that? You might feel a little sense of appreciation and gratitude. And I'm
Mhm,
sure you've talked a lot about the power of keeping a gratitude journal or having gratitude in our daily lives as our practice. So start feeling that. And they found this, noticing nature, experiencing and this awe, and all of a sudden, gosh, I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful for this beautiful place. And then again, that happy brain chemical flow keeps flowing, and
mhm,
that starts to create awareness, awe, appreciation, activates that connection and care, compassion, action. So starting to feel really connected to our natural environment to the point of where we want to start caring, not just getting nature's care, but how can we care for nature?
mhm,
And that really wraps around back to importance and significance of an eco-gerontology lens because we are experiencing a catastrophic loss of biodiversity, upwards of 70% of plant and animal species in the last 50 years. People say, well, what can I do? And
mm,
it really is starting is just unearth the 5 A's, go out and start immersing in nature. Awareness, awe, appreciation activates action, and then just little baby steps to help. Like it could be, I have a birds back here, of a bird bath in your yard. That's helping nurture the biodiversity of your landscapes, and you get the health and benefits of noticing nature and bringing more
Mhm.
nature into your life.
Oh, that is awesome. Thank you for all that. It's like, woo.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Very
Oh, no,
simple.
no,
There's a
that was
lot
great. I
more.
was just like listening to everything. So it
Yeah.
sounds like anybody should, do this, whether they're small children
Yep.
or, because you're right, we're too much in our built environments, as you say. And I love the idea because I'm all about extending your health span, not just your
Nice.
lifespan,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And
Very good.
so much of that, I think, again, in our society, we've just lost touch with things that people used to be in touch with all the time. Now,
Yeah.
question for you. So, this is great. These are great tips and advice and things that we all as humans should be doing. I'm very interested in helping older folks, older people who might be maybe people's loved ones who are listening to this now, who might be experiencing some loss of quality of life,
Mhm.
maybe some signs of dementia, and some chronic illness. How do you work with elder people to really help bring these benefits of being in nature into their lives? Is there anything specifically that you are doing with older folks, or that you can recommend that concerned adult children might want to help their older folks with?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And we can go back to the 5 A's on that awareness, right? So
Mm.
you have this lens now, and because a lot of times we don't have this awareness, like, oh, maybe if we got mom a bird bath, that bird bath she used to enjoy so much that we don't have anymore. Yes, that will help exponentially improve her quality of life and connection to the natural world. So it
Mm.
really also depends on where they're living. Are they living in assisted living or memory care? At this point, there is a barrier there because a lot of our current systems of care and living do not fully value the optimization of our outdoor spaces for therapeutic use is one of the terms I use, and value nature as care ally because the carers themselves also have lower connectedness nature. You mentioned children. So today's children are spending a lot less time outdoors in nature than we did, and then our older generation. So you have so it's a multi-pronged issue of you've got the older adults that, hey, I have a much higher level of nature connectedness. It's important to me to continue this connection. And then a lot of times the carers, so that are caring for and with our elders and older adults, don't have this awareness. So I really right now, my mission is continuing education
Hmm.
because it is through continuing education and experiential learning in particular, because we do have what you've heard of the caregiver crisis, and that's
Hmm.
multi-pronged too. But there is the wonderful thing about nature as care ally is everybody benefits. So it does start with awareness. So wow, I read this article. I was on, Julian's show, and I heard about this Eco Gerontology nature for health movement, having that awareness. And then, feel free to, I have lots of articles available, simple yet profound things you can start doing. And each situation's a little bit different, but it
Hmm.
is such an important awareness, Julianne, because there are so many people suffering when we have these simple yet profound evidence based tools that can really help, as you mentioned, quality of life, well-being. You can have
Hmm.
well-being with dementia. You can have
Hmm.
well-being and quality of life with a mobility impairment, where if you use a walker, things like that. So if we're family members, having this awareness and then go and figure out creative ways, there are simple yet profound ways to start nurturing that connection for those in your family, or maybe your friends, or maybe I haven't seen my neighbor for a while. Maybe I'll go see if she wants to go for a walk with me, or just sit and have a cup of tea or a lemonade on her porch and share a
Hmm.
conversation and just start noticing with, oh, wow, did you see that bird over there? Oh, what do you think? And then that starts getting that happy brain chemical flow. It really is that simple.
I love that. That's so great, and it's so simple, right? So,
Yeah.
so I
Yes.
noticed, so some of the ways, so people were to go to your website or your LinkedIn profile, they can,
Yeah.
which I will share in the show notes, everyone, so don't worry. Ways you can
Thank
contact
you.
Monica
Oh, I
or find out,
appreciate that.
yeah, and share
Yeah.
with her resources. You had something called a Care Outdoors signature course. It's
Yes.
online,
Yeah.
and just real quickly, what is that? What is that about? Who
Yeah.
should
The
be
Care
looking at that?
Outdoors.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Care Outdoor Signature course is designed for everybody. Whether you're, working on your encore career, we need more Care Outdoors leaders. We need more people with this lens. Or if you are currently in a healthcare profession, and it is 7 modules. It's very flexible. You can't be completed more than in less than 5 weeks because
Mhm.
it's small. We've covered a lot, even just little bits, as you can imagine in the course, the 7 modules. The goal is small bites,
Mhm.
digestion, and then that experiential learning. You have these practices where you will start literally engaging more in these spaces that you have access to and
Mhm.
growing that awareness. And then in the course, you will learn the science and the research, but then also simple yet profound ways to start applying the art of Care Outdoors into your work, your encore career, your volunteerism. I have a participant that now got a grant for a local park to initiate a dementia-friendly sensory garden,
Oh,
right? With
great.
what she's done with his tools. And so even if you're a volunteer, we desperately need more people because here in the States, I don't know how many people have heard of green care, right? And then so we cover the green care practice and approaches have been used and now researched extensively in the Netherlands, Finland, Norway, parts of the UK for going on 3 decades now. So you'll get this new lens. And then, like you said, I repeat often, simple yet profound ways to start implementing this practice for your health and well-being. And that's the wonderful thing. Your health and well-being improves while you're learning. That's that experiential learning. Because like we said, like in your work too, I'm sure when you really experience the benefits firsthand, then you get real excited, like, oh my gosh, I got to share this with everybody. Oh, you're feeling down. We'll move around now. So let's go to the beach, and then ways to remove these perceived barriers. We do have research on, well, my mom can't get away around so well and things like this. So we do have tools to remove those barriers. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds fabulous. And I know one of the ways to connect with nature is with pets. You've
Oh,
probably heard
yes.
my dog barking a little bit here.
Oh,
I
wonderful.
She's usually so quiet, I don't think about it, but,
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, she is a good, connection to nature for me, and also she's my wonderful, um, physical trainer, personal trainer, because she literally I have to take her on many walks every day, so and then we get
Companions, they're the best.
right? And we
She's
get
your
out in nature, guess what?
Yes,
And I
she's
get to
your
see my
cheerleader.
neighbors.
And you get to see your neighbors,
That's
right?
right.
And
It's a win-win.
that's a green care approach right there is companion animals, right?
Hey,
And
who
it's
knew?
huge. Yeah, and you're getting
I'm
your green
practicing green care.
exercise.
I love this. I love
You're
what you
doing it.
do. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love what you do. I really appreciate this. I'm so grateful that you were able to come on our show
Yeah.
today and give us an overview and some really
Yeah.
good information about what it is that can be done
Yeah.
because there's just
Yeah.
so much out there. So, all right, I
There
think we need
is.
to close for now. I'm going to make sure
Okay.
and put as much information as I can in the show notes. How do people can
Sure.
contact you? Um,
Yeah.
and what you've got going on. And I would say there are quite a few people out there who probably want to know more or maybe
Yeah.
even take that Care Outdoors signature course. But
Yeah.
anyway, that's all available for everyone who watches this. So
Yeah.
anyway, thank you so much for being
Thank
my
you so
guest and
much.
sharing what you
Jillian,
do.
in
Yeah,
real before we go, I wanted to share one more thing. So
yeah.
simple yet profound. Wherever you are, you step outside today, and the first thing with all the Care Outdoors approaches is we become aware of our breath. Here's
Mm,
another simple yet profound. So we love Thich Nhat Hanh, right? So breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. Dwelling in the present moment. Wonderful moment.
mhm. Oh, thank you.
Simple. Yeah.
Breathing, so underrated.
Breathing. Yeah, I know, right? We forget to breathe.
It's so true.
And without nature, we wouldn't be able to breathe.
That's also true. Well, thank you, Monica. This has been
Thank
so
you
much
so
fun.
much.
All right,
Yes, it's been
thank you,
great.
audience, and we will see you next time. This is Julianne Waukee signing off. Thank you.